being a Northwest guy is you're raised in a batting cage, you're raised in an indoor facility, you're taking ground balls off of, you know how to work in limited space.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, and I know I'm biased because I'm a Northwest guy, but I will take a Northwest guy over somebody from another area any day of the week because I just think they're tougher. I just think they're tougher guys.
I think that's one of the best things about baseball is it still is a way that you can really develop toughness and develop, loyalty and all those kinds of things that we want out of young men in particular.
Welcome to the Pacific Northwest Fungo Banter Podcast, where we highlight all of the great coaches of the Pacific Northwest. Now, here are your hosts, Eric Sorensen, Jason Jarrett, and Kelly Gow.
Hey, Pacific Northwest Fungo Banter fans, welcome back. And if you're listening to this on the day this thing's dropped, really, welcome back, because this is being dropped on opening day of high school baseball here in Washington State and most of the Pacific Northwest, as I think everybody is so fired up to get started, get their teams on the field, hopefully on the field today, and start our season and our quest for the Final Four come the end of May. So we're excited to be in your earbuds. Actually, hopefully you're not listening to this today. Hopefully you're getting ready for a season and a practice and getting all those fun things taken care of. But know that we're here for you. If you just need that little bit more, if you have a long drive to work, or if you have that long drive to practice today. So hopefully there's lots of wins for you guys this season, lots of great strike calls, dry days, warm weather, and just fired up to be back with all of our friends and family and being with our players. We're with our second families right now, so it's pretty awesome. Here's part two with head coach Rob Reese from Issaquah High School and head coach of Lakeside Recovery, Senior Legion Baseball. Hopefully you guys thoroughly enjoyed part one as much as we did recording it, because Coach has such a great story, and we're always excited to have him around. And at the end of that one, or at the end of today, he promises he's speaking at the Washington State Baseball Coaches Association clinic next February. So hold them to it. Really excited for that. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to our sponsors, Safeguard. Thank you to Devo Bats. Thank you to Top Tier Sports and Max BP. Hopefully you got to their sidewalk sale this last weekend. Go check them out. Get the training aids that you need. If we're going to be inside, that's one of my things, man. We got two of those machines. We're going to have them back-to-back shooting two different hitting stations, and I'm really excited about that opportunity. Hopefully we don't have to go inside. But excited about them and Devo Bats. Go check them out, devobats.com, family-owned company, as they are back with us on our airwaves. So that's enough for me. I think we all need to get to this part two. If you haven't reviewed our podcast, please do so. We really love all our loyal listeners and excited for all that you guys do for us. Please go do that. Click, like, follow all of us. We're on Instagram now, so go check that out. We're on Facebook, TikTok, the X, the Twitter, just anything you guys can do to follow us as we start to wrap up this season. We got episodes. We got about 4 more episodes to drop, and they're really good. We're really excited. We're all recorded. We got that out of the way before the season started, and excited to drop that. And we got big plans for next year. So we'll maybe drop some of that stuff here coming up in our last episodes. But we got episodes to get you through the month of March. Good luck to everybody. Like I said, hopefully you have lots of wins, great strike calls, and some dry fields. So here goes part two with Rob Reese, head coach of Issaquah High School.
Well, Coach, let's kind of transition to summer baseball a little bit here. You know, you've been not only coaching for many years at Issaquah, but Lakeside. You're really one of the only very few Legion programs out there. We just aren't seeing they've seen a lot of change over the last 10 years. But how have you maintained the relevance, versus the club scene?
Well, I mean, number one, we've been pretty good. Lakeside's been a pretty good program, and we get guys who want to play. We play all those guys. We don't just play. I mean, I know some teams play on Legion teams, only play Legion teams. We play we actually even play in the Showcase League with all those guys and finished in the upper 3 or 4 teams. So we've been successful. We compete with those guys. We play those guys in tournaments. So, and it's a big selling point is that we're a local community-based team where we get good crowds. We can have a practice, and guys don't have to take 2 ferries to get to your team or drive an hour from Centralia to play for a team in Seattle, or, just come on down to Issaquah or Newport, and we can take batting practice before every game. Some of these teams don't get to do that. I mean, so, and being good, it helps, and being successful helps. And we have good players. I mean, I had 3 D1 arms. I mean, we got freshmen starting at Seattle U. I mean, we got some guys. So, I mean, they want to be a part of the program. I mean, there's some of these guys have wanted to be Lakeside since they were in Little League, and they come watch their brothers. And I mean, it's no different than the Pepsi Pack. I mean, that's the stability and the tradition. I mean, that's kind of what helps it, Legion baseball in the older teams, we've lost some Centralias and the Vancouvers, and those guys have left, but Kennewick's back. Pepsi Pack and Lakeside have been the I don't want to powerhouses, or we've been kind of run the show, but we good teams who've been there, just consistency, a consistent model, with Archers and us. And there is a growth in the A Legion and the double A Legion. There's some more teams coming over, and guys are getting sick of driving from Ferndale to play in the Seattle Elite League and some of those the old Seattle Elite League. But, so there is some smaller towns have the Legion teams up in our area up north, and Spokane's just killing it with the Legion teams, the number of Legion teams. And, they got like 30 A and double A teams. So it's the growth's there, but keeping the older guys, you need a coach who wants to be involved, and high school coach and all that. And some of these guys don't coach their seniors. They cut them loose when they're seniors and just want to coach their next group of guys. So that makes it hard for a Skagit and those guys to consistently have teams, because they just want to keep all their juniors and win a junior Legion state title instead of letting them play up. And but you make it to state, and those are eight quality teams at state, and then you win state, and you go to regionals, you win regionals, you go to the World Series. So that's one thing that not another league has, is the competitiveness at the end of the season, postseason, where it's not just a tournament and you went 3-1, you got eliminated, you don't get to play in the semis. I mean, you double elimination and you go, and we've won back-to-back state titles, and we lost to Eugene in last year. But yeah, there's I wouldn't trade the postseason of Legion for anything. It's just an amazing run. We went to I've been to the World Series twice. We got a second and a third, and it's in Shelby, North Carolina now, and there's 130,000 people come to that tournament. You can't park with, they can drive our bus and drop us off at the field, but I mean, can't even get anywhere near there in a car. I mean, it's just unbelievable, that town. It's like Williamsport, for Little League, how every game's on ESPN3. So it's a pretty cool deal, and it's pretty big in a lot of states, just not the West Coast, to be honest.
It's too bad, because it still hurts. Like, I'm old now. Like,
yeah,
we lost the state championship game to the team from up in Seaham. I don't know if they're still in the Legion Ball or not. And they got
Bellingham.
And they got to play in the World Series championship game that year. And I was like, it turned out one of the guys was a college roommate. And so, but
there you go.
I just think that's such a cool aspect of it. And you're right. Like, you're playing for some. Yeah, we always went and played our tournaments and everything we did, but we still played a league. And when summer wrapped up, man, that state tournament was a fun weekend. And
it was awesome.
And getting to see
you guys probably lost to King Nissan was the name of that team from up
in Seaham.
They were King Nissan. Jake Locker was actually on that team too. They had some guys,
players on that team, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I think that's the thing that I loved so much about Legion Ball, man, is you were playing for so much at the end, especially when you get to go back to seeing the pictures of the Montana regionals and those playing in the old minor league stadiums, and just so cool.
We were Billings this year, so I mean, it was crazy.
I like that field.
Yeah, it's a great field. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you just don't. No matter what, these leagues are awesome and the competition's awesome, but playoff times, you can't replicate that, and that translates to your high school team right there. Learning how to compete, and you have to win. You have to win to move on.
Yeah. Coach, you kind of mentioned that you see a shift coming back to that. I mean, I think you may have shared that there in your last question, your last answer, but Are we seeing a big enough shift over maybe in the next 5-10 years? You think
Hopefully in the upper class, the lower classes, we're seeing it. Now it's just a matter of those guys keeping them, you know? So, I mean, we keep our guys. We don't have hardly any attrition, and we get guys back who never started with us. But some of these teams, you know, like our area goes King County all the way up to the Canadian border. So some of those guys have just Lindens and all those guys just have powerhouse junior legion teams, and then they cut their seniors loose. So then they go play on, you know, other teams. So it's tough to get those guys to buy in, and, you know, unless they have a kid, kind of, you know. Grady Twait's coaching the Bellingham team now, and his son's on the team. But there's, you know, we need to keep trying to build it. I mean, teams come in and out every single year, and they're there for 2 years and gone. It's not like you know, when I started, and there was Kent and Vancouver and, you know, two Kennewigs, two Yakimas, Wenatchee. I mean, you could go all the way down, and we had Federal Way on. I mean, we had some great district tournaments, you know. So that's kind of, hopefully we can get back to that at some point. But the Seattle Elite Leagues or the Showcase or the top tier, you know, those leagues, some great competition. So, and you don't have to travel as much if you're in those leagues. So, I mean, I feel kind of a little bit hypocritical, but I took my junior legion and my A legion out of legion, and we play in the Seattle Elite or the Showcase League now, because you don't have to drive to Blaine on a Wednesday from Issaquah. We can just drive to Renton, you know. I mean, it's a lot easier on the travel.
I'll be curious to see that, not to take this in any way other than baseball, but like, when's the financial status of maybe our economy or whatnot going to affect where we do see guys staying more local? And maybe they won't. Maybe I'm completely off on it. Maybe it ain't gonna. People are just writing checks. It's not a big deal for them. But it just seems like
some people, but not everybody.
It's got to be getting to a point where that you would think this would get reeled in a little bit more local as it is.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started coaching, every team had a sponsor. Every single team had a sponsor, and now there's probably Lakeside and not too many after that. I mean, I don't know how much Pepsi gives Pepsi Pack, but I mean, it helps keep our fees down. So we actually get burnt by it. By having a great sponsor, we get some parents who think we're not as good as another team because we don't charge as much, you know.
That's a good thing.
So that's what I would think, but they think it's, you know, I can pay $10,000 to be on this team. You know, I don't want to mention any names of these teams, but there's some $10,000 teams out there. It's like, whoa, you know.
What's crazy. The swag, you know? No.
Yeah, a lot of swag. Lakeside swag's gotten better because of Tyler and Todd, you know. Those guys. My uniform rep just called me and was like, what's going on here? And I was like, hey, got all charcoal uniforms. Just talk to Todd and Tyler. That's all those guys.
I'll just make sure they stay in budget and we'll be good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No,
so hopefully, I mean, I wish everybody played Legion, you know, it would be huge, but
well, I just have I know there was like the rules as far as you know, how many schools and kids and all that. Is that more lax now than it was in the old days? Is it more
increased? It's increased. Yeah, I mean, we've fought for this in Legion is to get the numbers increased so you could have number one, the schools used to have to touch. Now you can skip a team. So if we're Newport and Issaquah and, you know, the next school is like Mercer Island, but they all play for Dominic Woody, then we could just skip them and go to the next school. And you don't have to count them. In the old days, you used to have to count them. The old days, the enrollment was 3,000, not counting ninth graders. So, you know, you could get a Newport Issaquah and maybe an Eastside Catholic. And now it's 7,500. So we got Newport, Issaquah, Skyline, and we actually have a Woodinville kid. So
all right, go Falcons.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you don't have to count. The old days you used to have to count the schools in between, so you could never do that. But they have relaxed some of the paperwork and the rules, but a little bit. It gave us an increasement in the enrollments, helped us compete with the select teams. Obviously, you know, some of those great programs that are out there.
Is that more inviting for a team to like start up? You know, I know, you know, Lyle Overbay ran a team the last, you know, a couple years back. I remember being down recruiting that event in Centralia, but Is it more doable now for a team to kind of pop up and enter the race?
Yeah, it's doable. I mean, Overbay did it with his Sobe team from Centralia, but they kind of played in this Elite League, Premier League first as the Blue Jays, and then they brought them all over. They had all those Tumwater guys, and then they all graduated, and Overbay went back down with his 14-year-old son and started a new team. So, I mean, it's just a matter of keeping those guys, and they were solid. I mean, we ended up coming out of the losers bracket and beating them twice to win that. But yeah, they were legit. And the hardest part about starting a program now is getting your older guys to buy in. So I don't know if you could come in and start a senior Legion team unless you're Overbay and had your kid's the best kid on the team and you're bringing guys with you. You're probably going to have to start like Spokane's doing with 15s and 16s and then just keeping them together. That's probably the best way to do it, and then, trying to get a kid to leave his, team and say he's on Boys of Summer for the last 3 years. And now you're going to try to start a senior Legion team and expect them to come. That's not going to happen usually. So, but we play those guys. We beat those guys 4 times last year, but the biggest difference is they have 25-man rosters and we have 18-man rosters. So that's a big plus. You're playing them in the Kurt Daniels on day 5, and they got 8 guys down there doing bands who haven't even pitched yet. And all of our relievers are the infielders. We don't have 8 guys in the POs down there. We got my shortstop, second baseman, and the outfielders. When it gets to that late in the tournament, anyway.
That was half the fun of it, though, man. Like just getting to go scrap and get to go play.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Hey, have you pitched? Yeah. And then go pitch against the Beatles at their home field, the Firecracker, and it's 104 out, miserable, beating them, and they don't have to hear them squish the bug anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But we used to always joke around like the Twin City Titans, like all 18 guys pitched. I swear.
Yeah. And it was very
every
good.
guy pitches on that team.
Yeah.
When they had Farrington and Pete Marquez, and I was like, does every guy in your team pitch? And it's just unbelievable. And they're solid.
Yeah.
Just number 17 coming in. It's like this guy could be in our starting rotation. But yeah. So it's a different era now. I mean, Kennewick just got wiped out by some select teams, and Yakima's finally starting. We've been dealing with it since I've coached, so we understand it. But I don't think the Pack have ever had that happen to them before. All of a sudden, guys are playing in Seattle.
Yeah.
Well, like you said too, your summer teams are so important and viable to your season success. What you're doing in that summer is getting ready for that next spring season.
Exactly. Just the leadership. I mean, I've never had a captain or a leader who didn't play with us. In the summer, those guys have always. It's fine to go play elsewhere. That's you started with them when they're 13. We get all that. We don't force them to come back or. But most of our leaders are the guys who played together and can round everybody up for open fields and the weight room and all that kind of stuff. So, and the biggest thing is you get guys playing the positions you want them to play when we have control of it, versus, some of these teams, they got 8 shortstops, and they're all playing every other position on the field, which usually what happens in college. But, if you're my starting shortstop, I'd prefer you played shortstop. You're junior summer, so you're not playing left field all summer. That's kind of what happens a little bit. But
talk to us through, your player development through the summer. That was half the fun of showing up to the field. You got your shorts on, you go out there and get all your pregame work on, and then we would go back to the clubhouse and put our jerseys on, and then we'd go play our doubleheader for the day. Talk to us about how you manage that throughout the year or through your summer, and just players getting work, but they're also getting that game experience every night.
Yeah, they're getting game experience. We probably play 50 to 60 games, depending on how far we go in the summer. So we practice early a lot. We have batting practice before games, and we have workouts or extra infield. And, the first part of the year, we got to give them our off days. We got to kind of give them off to get through school and get their finals done and all that kind of stuff. And then more recently, it's like, we're battling the same kids for football, basketball, baseball. So pretty much basketball's gone away. Kids usually don't play other sports than just basketball now. It's just so AAU'd. And So we share some football guys. So, we give them some days off. 50. We played. I think last year we played 55 games in 60 days. So we did a couple of those days were travel days. So we're getting a lot of at bats and a lot of reps and BP and early BP and individual BP. Most of the stuff after the first couple of weeks, we transition out of practicing and more just games and have one-on-one type practices with the coaches or Todd and Tyler. Basically, they're the young bucks. I've been coaching with Coach Files for 25 years, so we've kind of let them handle the extra stuff.
Well, I feel like you get a lot more out of a kid too when you do have throughout those days of having that one-on-one time, because in our sprint of a high school season, how many days we got? 3 months, basically 2.5 months.
Yeah.
But to be able to break it down with a kid and be able to see him progress, but then you play that night, right? And then that's just you guys.
You don't want to give them too much to think about, but you want to correct a few things or just the reps. I mean, just getting the reps every single day and watching them develop. And it's just amazing how each year they get better and better. They get stronger, and I mean, it's obviously bigger, stronger, faster, but they fill out, and all of a sudden they played 60 games and they're playing the competition that they played in. And now they're overwhelmed as sophomores in Kinko, and now they're not as juniors because they faced all that pitching all summer, So.
Yeah, I remember that going back to, that high school summer end and not having a summer coach being the same as my high school coach. And there's really not the time to create a relationship. Right. And Eric mentioning it there, like you have a finite amount of time to get in what you want and play games. And before you know it, it's over.
Exactly.
So I never really had a great, relationship with my high school coach, and a great photo with you and Terry in this last year. But, it wasn't bad by any means, right? It was not a bad relationship. It's just not, you're still kind of toe in the water, not sure who's who and what's what. But that ability to play, you combine your 20 games in high school, hopefully more, but with your 50, 60 in the summer, like that's more than every single level of college baseball. And you get a chance to do it for, a course of 4 years. Like the start of this thing, we talk about relationships and trust. Like, that's the reason it exists, right? Like you have that opportunity to be around those guys for a third of their year, maybe even a little bit more of the duration of their entire year, plus whatever off-season stuff you're able to observe and see them in the halls of the classrooms and those type of things. But, it's such a great opportunity, and it's a testament to you and why you've been able to be successful and be in this for so long that so many other people aren't able to last this duration that you've done because of, relationships and having that summer thing is probably a big reason why you're able to do it for this amount of time.
Exactly. I mean, Terry Agnew played Lakeside. I don't know if you knew that, but Lakeside started in 1968. Yeah, it's amazing how long this program and that sponsorship's been kicking money into some. I mean, basically, we're 2 high schools with a little bit of a third, and we've had 10 big leaguers. So, I mean, that's a pretty good argument to go make when guys are trying to recruit against us from the select teams. When you ask how we keep some guys, and we have 186 college guys and 10 big leaguers. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year. I mean, we've had some good ones. So, I mean, it's kind of, that's kind of makes us look good as coaches, having guys like that,
Not to transition too far from that, but, being able to coach the kind of talent that you've had. I mean, at what point did you know, this guy, we're going to watch this guy someday?
Yeah. I mean, Todd Hollinsworth was just ridiculous how good he was. And we had a guy named Colin Curtis a few years back who made the Yankees 2006 or something like that. And he was unbelievable too. You just knew those two guys. And then the pitchers, some of them made it up and got one outing in the big leagues and got sent back down. But, Todd Hollinsworth, I mean, he's rookie of the year. He just dominated. Every time he hit a single into center field, he was on second. It was just a double. I mean, he's just so fast. And, you can tell. I mean, some of those guys, unless they get hurt, there's some pretty good ones. We had Adrian Sampson. He's still in the big leagues, so pretty good arms. So you could tell. I mean, I've had 90 guys throwing 92, 93 just get crushed straight as an arrow. And then I had Lindsey Galeen, who's 83, 84, and he strike out 18 guys a game, left-handed with a slider, and it's unhittable. Played 17 years in the minors, never made it up to the big leagues, but played in a couple different countries and all that. And now his daughter plays volleyball for my wife. That's kind of cool.
Wow. So cool.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Well, Coach, you got this in a book yet?
Yeah.
Not yet. I got some good stories from
I'm
book.
telling you what,
Let's
I'm
hear
just
it.
listening.
Let's
I
get
could
some
listen
story
to this
time.
all night,
Yeah.
man.
Tell us
Yeah,
some.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Tell us some story. Let's dive into that, man.
Yeah, some stories. I have the same parent night. I get the same sheet of paper and I just edit it. But I mean, we have to sit there and go over etiquette and riding buses and all these parents. Why do we got to do that? And I said, we ride the bus because and I give a specific name. So one thing, you don't want to get in my beginning of the year speech because yeah. I mean, 1997, Will Sullivan, starting shortstop. His grandma was ill, so he was going to stop and visit her on the way home, and then he zooms by us going about 80 with his girlfriend. So that was the last time nobody didn't ride the bus. So we got stories like that. We've had parents hide behind trees and jump the JV coach, and it's just like overplaying time. It's like can't hide in behind trees. I mean, there's a lot of good ones, but
No hiding behind tree rule.
no hiding behind trees waiting for the coach to come out and then jump him to question him about playing time. We're not going to talk that day, even if you jump out of the tree. You have to wait till tomorrow and come and make sure your son's there to have these meetings. But yeah, I mean, there's some good ones, and I have my wife comes to our preseason coaches meeting every year, our parent meeting. She gets a chuckle out of I probably got 9 rules and 8 of them are named after a previous player. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
Coach, what's the top one? I know you've got one off the top of that was like, you guys wouldn't believe this happened in my 30
we've had
plus
a lot.
years.
I mean, I've had guys, get thrown out at home and just their parents yelling at me. And, that was back in 1994. And I just basically, just take your kid and get the F out of here. And next day I'm in the principal's office. It's like, did you really say that? And I go, was that wrong? But yeah, I couldn't do that today. But in 1994, we got away. I mean, some of stuff like that,
Oh my God.
it's kind of funny. But you wouldn't
What
even
about
think
ejection
about
stories? What's your ejection rap sheet?
Ugh, 0 in high school. You can't really.
Okay. No,
Summer
I got
ball.
penalties for that.
Summer ball. I swear I get kicked out every other year I go to Port Angeles. Or the old days when we used to come to Yakima. There's some.
Oh yeah.
There's some guys. Did that something pop up, or can you still see me?
Yep, you're
No,
good.
we're good.
You're good. You're
Okay.
good. Yeah.
There's some reboot thing just showed up on my wife's computer, but yeah. No, there's over beers I have a lot better stories, so coaches meeting next year. But
I'm holding you to it at the tab.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's some good ones. I've had a couple parents who, Larry Stone used to write for the Mariners. His kid played for us. And Jim Moore, who was a big Coug guy, but was a KJR and a sports writer. They all want to write a book someday. So
Oh, that'd be great.
we'll see. Yeah. There's 32 years of stories. There's some good ones.
Absolutely.
I'd buy it. I'd buy it.
Yeah.
What's
yeah, there you go.
We spent a full episode talking about our best travel stories of chaotic things that may have happened, buses breaking down.
Ooh.
Do you have anything like that for us?
Yeah, I mean, we went to regionals, God, probably back when Collins, so it's probably like 2002 or 2003, we won and got picked up. We flew into Denver to go to somewhere in Wyoming. I don't even remember it was, but like a 2-hour bus ride on the bus, and we broke down on Little Bighorn. It's like 112 degrees and there was a casino there. So it was like me and Files went in the casino, but everybody, all the kids had us like the Taco Bell at 112. But I mean, just breaking down like 3 hours in between the two cities. But yeah, or even last year, Legion Ball. I mean, when you lose at regionals, they try to get you out of there the next day. So we got on a bus. They drove us to Billings, and we were in Billings. But we went to the Billings airport, and I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna be home in like 2 hours. And then my airline said like Minnesota, St. Paul. They flew us to Minnesota to get us all on a plane to come back to Seattle.
Son of a
Jeez.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some. I don't know if those are good stories, but they're brutal.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That Billings travel, it was the the pain in
that's
my side getting in and out of there.
Yeah, we won it one year there. 2012 when we went to the World Series, and we showed up there and they said, you guys won't hit. Nobody hits homers out of here, and we hit like 12. And we were just unbelievable how we just put on a show and beat Hawaii and went to the World Series. So yeah, it was pretty cool. So I have fond memories of there, but we lost there last year, same part. But
Dealer Park,
it's a great.
Right?
Yep. It's awesome.
They
got a brand new scoreboard. They put a lot of work into it starting last summer. Put a new scoreboard and some new hitting cages and stuff. So
that's cool.
Gosh, that's
awesome. Get the wind blowing there. That ball really flies out of the yard.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Nightmare fuel for me. Yeah.
You could have some pitching.
Some good Billings times.
Yeah.
Good times in old Billings. So you look at it. I mean, you're darn near 500 wins now. I don't want to curse it. I'm not a baseball people, but you know what's left for you in your baseball journey? You know, what can we kind of look forward to you and seeing you out in the field? You know, you got your kids helping out now, but what are you most looking forward to? What keeps you going to the field year in and year out?
Well, number one, we got the 2000 or the COVID year was a killer for us. My wife and I had been just waiting. We had Issaquah, we had a team to win it. The year before we lost in the bottom of the 7th, and I had every single guy coming back. That was Tyler's senior year. And Todd at the same time was playing at Concordia. It was his senior year. So me and my wife were 2020 is our year. I mean, we're gonna be baseball games every weekend, and then to lose that. So I said, I'm going to coach a couple more years, and then just because I didn't want to end on COVID, you know, that. And then as Tyler's wanted to get into coach, Todd gets into coaching, but he doesn't want to make a career out of it, but Tyler does. So Tyler just like, it's kind of the coach in waiting, hopefully at Issaquah, but he's green and he wants me there to teach him the ropes with the parents, you know, basically that kind of stuff. He could handle the baseball portion of it. I mean, Kelly knows that from the time he spent around him. He's a very good baseball guy, but he's just never dealt with parents yet. So, I mean, that could be a killer for a
that's
young
a big
guy.
part of it, just right there.
It is. It's huge. So I've involved him in all that, and he's going to be in the meetings and so trying to do some training there. But yeah, we maybe could have been at 500 if we didn't lose COVID, and the next year we only got to play 10 games.
Right.
So it was kind of a bummer, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you see yourself hanging around forever though? That is,
I don't know about forever.
Whether he's in charge or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'll stick around and help him for sure if they give him the job, but you know, I'll stick around a couple more years. I mean, I say that now because we haven't started yet, but after, you know, doing an open field in the snow, I mean, it's like, I mean, I don't know how many more of these I want to do, but yeah, not open field, but a field day, getting the field ready. So,
right.
But yeah, I mean, there's days, you know, you guys know, but when you're 70 degrees and you're winning, I mean, it's easy to keep going. It's soaking wet and freezing and it's shoveling snow. It's like, this sucks.
It's the good and bad with the turf, right? Like the turf can allow us to play with everything, but we have to play in everything.
You do, and that makes it more miserable sometimes. You don't get rained out, but there's some brutal days, you know. So a couple more years, hopefully. I'm only 58, so I'm not that old, but yeah, I started.
No,
young.
you're not.
So I started young.
Yeah,
but a few more years. I want to win another state title. Obviously, everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
We felt we had a shot that one year, and we had some arms and the team to do it, and we just didn't get a chance to do it. So, and then it's kind of been a rebuild since then. You know, we've had the pitching, but not the hitting, and now we got to mix them together.
Well, as we wrap this thing up, I got a listener question, actually. A text just came through, and I said, hey, we're on the call with Rob Reese here. What do you got for him? What's your question?
Yeah.
And another pride of Woodinville, Kelly's alma mater, Coach Kevin Agnew.
Yeah, there you go.
He said his question is his pitchers are always good. What's he do to get them ready? How does he manage them? How does he develop them? So on and so forth. So tell us all your secrets.
That's fine. But the one thing that we do is we pitch our guys one day a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't bring anybody back on short rest. I mean, we have a Monday starter, a Wednesday starter, and a Friday starter, and they throw those games. So we develop more pitchers than, Eastlake won a state title 2 years ago, and they had 2 pitchers, and they would go Monday, Friday, Wednesday, Monday, Friday, Wednesday, and they just ran those guys. And we don't do that. We lose a few games during the year because we didn't bring a guy back Monday, Friday, but I mean, we have a great throwing program, and we throw a lot. So we throw on off days, and we do a lot of that stuff, but we also got to be cognizant of the positions they play. So like Carvalho is my ace, but he's going to throw Friday so he can have Saturday and Sunday off because he's our starting shortstop. And we did that with a kid named Preston Crockett 2 years ago. Did the same exact thing, and it worked well. And he's playing at UPS now, but we just don't overuse them. I never let anybody go over 100, and we kind of try to develop our bullpen, and we might lose a couple games during the year, but by the end of the year, when everybody's out of pitching in the playoffs and we got 3 or 4 more guys who've got experience than they do, so. And the same thing in the summer. We don't short rest them at all. They just throw once a week, and that way they can get their bullpen in and their flat grounds and all that stuff in between, and rather than don't pick up a ball because you're throwing Friday, and you just threw 105 on Monday. So we just have never done that. And I watch other teams do it. And like I said, it costs us some wins in the early part of the year, but at playoff time, we've usually developed, a pretty good nucleus. And, our 3 bullpen arms are pitching in junior college this year in Washington. So it worked. Knock on wood, it's worked. But it's not that easy sometimes when you got a stud who could throw and you don't use them and try to get somebody else. But the parents appreciate it, and no Tommy Johns and no over pitching guys. And our JV coach likes to try to go Monday, Friday with guys, and I won't let him. So we kind of get into it over that. If you're not doing that, we don't care. We're going once a week. So you pick what day he's going. It's not Friday, Monday, whatever day he's pitching the next one. So,
Yeah.
So and map it out. I mean, I have the whole summer mapped out before we even start Lakeside in a binder, the whole pitching rotation. And obviously got to adjust if you get an injury or something, but guys know when they're throwing, and it's easy to get your in between start works in and your conditioning and all that kind of stuff, especially if you're a position guy too. It's tough on the keeping them ready when they can't do anything. You can't just throw every Friday and go play shortstop the rest of the weeks. I mean, you got some stuff to work on there too.
Right.
That's really
having
teaching
good
him to
pitchers
be
too. Yeah.
No, it's teaching him to be a professional pitcher. Like those guys are all on a schedule, right?
Sure.
And professional, you got 4 days rest between, depending on the off days and whatnot. College, you got your week. Bullpen guys back to back. But there's so many places you see that guys will show up to the yard for a game and not know who's starting that day. No one's communicated with them. The recruiting world, you talk to a kid and like, hey, when are you starting? Well, coach hasn't let me know. Well, tournament starts tomorrow, buddy. Like, it's depending on if we go to this game or that game or whatever. And so you like you said, you might lose some out of it. At the end of the day, like that player development side that is prevalent at the next level is what you're focusing on, and it's going to help the kid. It might hurt the team, but at the end of the day, like the availability is the best possible thing you can have, right? And
that's 100%.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we do that. I mean, once a week, and then it's so much easier to get in a routine that way. And they beg you, let me just close. I say, we're not closing, because then you're going to blow it and we're going to go 3 extra innings. And then we just do once a week. I mean, that's kind of, we've always done that. But I watch Lincecum go all the time, against us. So, I mean, I've seen guys pitch every single possible time. I've seen the guy at Eastlake a couple years ago do the same thing, just every time he could go, he would go, But our parents appreciate it. And I'm not saying Tim Lincecum's didn't or anything, but we're just a little more conservative when it comes to that. But we do throw more in between starts than if they weren't doing that.
Be more throwers and less pitchers, right? That's what Swenson's talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's tough to pitch twice a week and play shortstop. You can't even lift your arm, So
still got to wipe at the end of the day. You got to make sure of that. So
exactly.
But, awesome. Well, Coach, man, thank you so much for taking an hour out of your night to come on and talk some shop with us.
Yeah, it's always fun, talking baseball this time of the year. Can't wait. We're going to be starting it pretty soon.
That's right.
So what's it like not coaching, Kelly?
It's wonderful. I love it. I'm gonna have baby duty as soon as we hit end record here. It's gonna be baby in the arms, and it's gonna be my try to get her to sleep. And if not, then we'll keep on trying.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we have
a 2-man rotation here.
Yeah, that's awesome. You lose a little of your identity though when you don't coach. That one year when we had COVID and didn't play, it was just like, geez, I don't feel the same. So that's kind of always been on my mind. Like whenever you retire, you're not going to have that. You're not coach anymore to the new guys, but you still are to the old guys. But so a career.
I think you live vicariously through the people that in coaching, right? It's people like you guys that I can reach out to and ask how things are going and what you're excited about or whatnot. That gets me fired up. And it'll probably be harder when the players that you had a relationship with are all gone, right? And now there's no follow for those guys and what they're doing and how they're doing and all those things. But I still get my fix. I get to do the couple different deals throughout the year, and the Big Northwest, the scout teams, and some of the experience trip stuff we'll do in the summer, and get to be around and be an impact for those kids, and bring a different perspective than maybe what they're used to, and all the other stuff. But
that's awesome.
I'm excited to follow you guys, and hopefully we have we can't have 3, but hopefully we have 2 state titles sitting here on this call right now.
Yeah, there you go. Well, so that'd be good. But yes, pleasure to be on, talk baseball. So Agnew's been hitting me up for 2 years, and we always go to Disneyland with the family. Now I'm a grandpa, so I gotta
the good years.
Yeah, so that's crazy. So
cool.
So I told him I'd do it next year, so we'll see you guys down there at that.
We're talking same weekend, Super Bowl weekend in Ellensburg. Everybody get your tickets bought now.
Yeah, there you go.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Coach, and good luck this spring.
You bet.
Now entering from the bullpen,
and that wraps up our episode, our interview with head coach of Issaquah High School, Rob Reese. Good luck this season, Coach, and good luck to all you coaches who are starting today in your high school baseball seasons. Hopefully you got some dry fields, lots of clean white baseballs, and a lot of fun getting to be with our second families for 3 more months, right? Get this thing rolling and start the wonderful sport that we all love. So thank you again to Safeguard. Thank you to Top Tier Sports. Thank you to Devo Bats. And thank you to Max BP, who owns Frost Gear and Heavy Swing. Go check all those guys out for any of your baseball needs. Please go rate and review. Go follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. TikTok, as we might have some surprise live episodes. So if you follow us on there, man, you can get the live updates. If we happen to go live, just happen through June, July, August in our off season. But as we get ready to wrap up our Fungo Banner season 5, don't worry, we got about 4 more episodes for you, and we'll get you through March here with some good baseball content for some great baseball people. So without any more, thank you guys. Good luck this season. Good luck in your first day of practice, and hopefully everybody has a good first week. Looking forward to next week. Be back in your earbuds.